All right, and what is up, YouTube? Welcome back. If you didn't know, tomorrow is seasonals, which is really exciting. I'm always excited for seasonals. It's the big, 9 rounds of Swiss tomorrow, followed by a top cut on Sunday. I've topped the last two, which means I made it into the top 32 or qualified for it. So, hoping to continue to do that this time around. And this is what I'm going to be bringing. These top three decks here: TF Nami, Kaisa, and then Scouts. So the idea of my lineup is that I'm banning Kaisa, and I'm pretty solid into Pirates, and I'm just like a generically strong lineup here. I think that the biggest decks, the ones that are most prevalent, the ones that are most likely to show up a lot, are Kaisa and are Pirates. I think these are decks that you absolutely have to have some kind of a plan for. And my plan right now is to just be solid into Pirates. I'm banning Kaisa 99% of the time, which all of you out there should probably also be banning Kaisa. Let's take a peek at my list real quick and just a couple of the techs. We can start out with Kaisa. This is the deck that probably has the most variation in it. You know, you could run Mono Kaisa, you could run Akshan Kaisa, you can run Sivir Kaisa. I started out playing a ton of Akshan Kaisa and had an insane win rate with it, but then my win rate started to drop a little bit with it, and it just feels a little bit less consistent. I don't actually like drawing Akshan in that deck. I don't think Akshan really does much. So I've actually swapped over to Roji's version of the Mono Kaisa, especially with the numbers that Roji is putting up. Grandpa Roji, if you don't know him, is a very good player. Has been rank 1 multiple times this season and made the Mono Kaisa list. The numbers he's putting up in the Pirates matchup make me think that this is probably going to be my best bet for it. I think I'm a couple cards off of his version. I'm on triple A bomb. He's only on 2 copies. I believe I cut a quicksand for it. And then I am on 1 chain vest and 1 Ranger's Resolve. Ranger's Resolve is just a very strong card. Otherwise, this is the typical Mono Kaisa list that you've probably seen a million times. You run Xerxai Hatchling as well as the Voidling in order to evolve pretty early, usually like turn 3, turn 4. And a lot of times you're winning through just value trading on board with really big units. You play 2 mana 5/3s, you play 4 mana 6/6s, and like a lot of times you just out mid-range people. Of course, you are running the 6 copies of Kaisa because Kaisa's still a good card. You don't need Kaisa to win, but she's really nice to have, and just consistently being able to pick that up makes this deck really strong. Still on 2 denies. I think that's a pretty good place to be. 1 Green Fang Warden just gives you a couple extra keywords in order to flip, and then 1 Supercharge. Roji swears by this being good into aggro just to pressure the game and sort of, actually end it. And I am going to be on that. These lists, a couple cards might change between now and tomorrow, but I'm 95% set on this lineup. Let's go ahead and take a peek. TF Nami. TF Nami is a deck that sort of fell by the wayside. A lot of people stopped playing it. It didn't have a good matchup into Kaisa at like any point. And with the nerf to Tentacle Smash, it definitely loved that card in this deck, so losing that does kind of hurt. But I think this deck crushes Pirates, and I think I'm good enough at this deck to beat stuff like Darkness, Ezreal Kennen, other decks like that. It looks a little bit different than you might have seen previously. We're obviously on no Tentacle Smash. The nerf to that makes it a little bit unplayable. 2 copies of Go Hard really helps out the Pirates matchup, as well as sometimes you just pack people's bags because you have quite a bit of draw. It really is just a nice inclusion in here. Otherwise, pretty standard. You just are looking for ways to spend your mana early. That way you can progress your Nami level up. Double Trouble's really good. Vile Feast. We are on 1 copy of Undergrowth. This is sort of your 3rd copy of Go Hard. The extra healing is nice, plus dealing 2 damage definitely matters. It's a pretty good card as well. I believe Kever is the first person to add this into their deck, at least the first person I saw. Otherwise, we are on 1 Ruination, 1 Harrowing. I just like both of those 9 costs in there. I'm going to be leaving Demacia up quite a bit. I'm worried about like Poppy Tarek, stuff like that. So I think having 1 copy of Ruination is going to be pretty nice. And then 1 copy of Riptide Sermon instead of the 3rd Vengeance. Riptide Sermon's really nice to sort of reclaim board in a lot of these matchups where you need blockers. You get to remove a unit and summon a unit at the same time. It's sort of like what Tentacle Smash was doing, but a little bit bigger in terms of the removal suite. Dealing 4 is pretty good. It also gives you a little bit of reach. Either way, I really like this list. I've been having a lot of success with it, and I think that this is a really strong contender for the next for the seasonals. It's bad to Kaisa. And has a little bit of trouble into some Demacia decks, like Poppy Tarek, but I think that you can play well enough to do fine in those matchups. And then deck number 3 right now is going to be Scouts. If you don't know me, I'm a pretty big Scouts fan. Scouts had fallen by the wayside as well, especially with Kai'Sa and Bard. They very much push Scouts out of the meta, but with Bard nerf, this deck is doing a little bit better, especially if you get to ban Kai'Sa. Honestly, it was a toss-up for me on if I wanted to put Pirates or Scouts in the slot. I think that both decks are incredibly strong. But I'm leaning towards Scouts right now. This list is looking a little bit different than maybe the last time you saw it. We're on 2 Shell Shockers just to help curve out in the early game for Inspiring Light. We're trying to go wide. We're trying to play Inspiring Light. We're on a couple Rangers Resolve just because that buff is just so valuable when you're very wide. As well as our top end, slightly different. You're used to seeing 2 Genevieve, 2 Cytherea. We're not on that. Still 2 Genevieve, but now we're on a couple copies of Eye of Nankaboros, as well as Riptide Cern. Riptide Cern is just an incredibly strong card for gaining tempo on board, as well as adding removal to a deck that otherwise doesn't have it. It really helps out some of your matchups like Jace Heimerdinger that would otherwise be like unplayable. I think that this is actually really huge, and I think it's tech that was put in by Prodigy. That's who I stole it from. I saw they were playing it on ladder, so I ended up stealing that. I have Nakaboros, just gives you a little bit more mid-range grind, a little bit of draw. It's pretty nice, especially with how low to the ground we are. A lot of times you're drawing cards you can play on the same turn, or you can burst speed, open attack. I really like this deck a lot. Big fan of it. It's beating Pirates. And then it just has game into a lot of other stuff. It's crushing some of the greedier piles, like Ezreal Cannon or Darkness. And I think that if you can ban Kai'Sa, this is going to be a pretty good option. That's the lineup I'm going for right now. Other decks that I had considered bringing, Ezreal Cannon, I think is an incredibly strong deck right now. I think it's doing incredibly strong things, but has major consistency issues and kind of baits you into not banning Kai'Sa. It's a very good deck, but I don't think it's the deck that I want to play for 9 rounds. Other decks, the Katarina Gwen deck, that rally deck is pretty solid as well. I definitely think it has legs and potentially is really good, but I didn't get enough time practicing on it, and again, it's kind of baiting you into not banning Kai'Sa. That's sort of a theme for a lot of the close decks that I could have brought, but I decided not to. Other stuff, Pirates is incredible right now. I genuinely think that this is I don't know, it's almost as strong as Kai'Sa. You get to run triple Riptide Sermon, a couple Eye of Nankaboros. You get to play more mid-rangey. You can afford a pass. You can play for tempo. I was really considering bringing this deck, even in like just a banned Kai'Sa lineup. I know it's supposed to be good into Kai'Sa, but like I think this deck is good enough that you could just jam it into basically any lineup. I think this deck is incredibly strong, and like there's like a 5% chance I end up on Pirates tomorrow, just because I think that the deck is incredibly good. Otherwise, Evelyn Viego is a deck that is picking up a lot of steam. We have a video on the channel if that's something you want to look at. Deck is pretty solid. It's okay into Kai'Sa, and it has a very strong win condition. Other than that, Infinite Combo exists. We have a video that came out, I think, earlier today. On that deck definitely has the potential to be really strong. Again, I think it's a deck that I just don't want to play for 9 rounds. Either way, that is what I'm going to be bringing. Let me know what you guys are bringing. Hopefully this comes out in time that you haven't locked in for seasonals. If it does come out today, I'm streaming right now probably, so come hang out. Otherwise, yeah, wish you luck. Let me know what you're bringing, and like, comment, subscribe, all that shit.